do the jokes. Let me do the jokes.
Yo, you know, there's Rex and Taylor. Out here with the one and only Mom Z, and of course it is the one and only the Dressing Room Podcast. It's not dressing room, but that's the best we could do. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Chilling, yeah.
Good seeing you.
You too, man.
It's been a minute.
It has been a while. These days I've been staying undercover. I only pop out when I'm doing shows, but
Are you still in South Africa?
So I came back from Russia. Sure, when did I come back from Russia? I came back from Russia just after COVID, so I was there for 2 years.
Oh yeah?
Adjusting back to South Africa was
so
different.
Out of all places, why Russia?
I was dating I met a girl in Cape Town, and then she was Russian, and then she suggested that no, yes, and no, I'm joking. But then. No, she was like, no, why don't you come visit me? And I was like, sweetie, I'd spent all my money visiting the previous girlfriend that I had in Germany.
Yeah.
So I was broke. And then she convinced me to sell my Harley Davidson to go to Russia, and I did it. And then I went to Russia. I was only supposed to be there for 3 months, but then COVID, they closed.
Oh, so that's why. Because Russia is like a culture shock compared to South Africa. Like area is like total opposite.
You would think that. You would think that. You know what's the nicest thing about Russia is that South Africa and Russia actually have a lot of similarities, because if you think back to apartheid days, we were not allowed to leave. We couldn't travel much, right? And Russians could not travel at all, right? They could only stay in the USSR. Then when they had privatization and we had our first democratic election, there was just an explosion of wanting to explore. Russians were never really involved in slavery. They educated 400,000 Africans. They introduced us to the AK-47. They were involved in all of the revolutions that happened.
So tell me, when there was a video going viral, South Africans eating Russians, did you have to explain to your friends? Like,
I was actually in Russia when I saw that video, and I myself was trying to figure out if it was just a joke or a campaign, or if someone. I thought it was one of those. Do you remember that situation that H&M had, where they just didn't read the market? So I thought someone came up with a campaign, and they were like, "This is gonna be a really great idea," and then it just backfired. But I mean, in general, I don't think it wasn't big enough in Russia for Russians to care.
And were you doing stand-up there?
I was actually doing more stand-up comedy per week in Russia than I do in South Africa.
Oh yeah, and the language barrier.
It's hectic. You need to actually speak Russian if you want to be in Russia.
Oh yeah, could you speak Russian?
Yeah, I can speak Russian. Я из Южной Африки. Мой русский плохо научусь.
Oh yeah.
I got some
I have no idea what you're saying.
I'll send you the subtitles if you can.
Sounds right.
Right here.
Sounds about right. I gotta ask you, man, in terms of like the climate for comedy, like you take risks, right? Like you're one of those comedians who say, I think you say whatever you want to say, right?
Yes.
How do you feel right now in terms of climate, in terms of cancel culture, everything?
That's actually a really great
sensitive.
question. That's a great question. So, I've always had a very niche audience because, I tell the truth about who I am. I am a coconut, you know what I mean? And the reality is that the way that our structure is set is to make sure that I'm not offending anyone per se, but that I'm offending everybody. So I won't make a statement that is offensive, but through the comedy, you need to be able to tease everybody, but at the same time have a bigger message. Because for me, the biggest thing is that I always kind of felt left out in the world because, I went to a private school that was majority white. And when I'm with white people, they all think I'm the token black guy. When I'm with black people, they call me a coconut. When I'm with coloreds, I'm the only one who really knows his grandfather. So it's very weird, So I never really felt like I had a place. So majority of my set is literally just in explaining the concept that any human being can look like that but talk completely different, or think like this, or speak in a different language, or this is the global world we live in. But to do that, there are some jokes that go a little bit beyond, and you need to do it. Or else you don't make people think differently. All you end up doing is just trying to reproduce cliches that already exist.
Yeah. And I gotta ask you, because you touched on something in terms of like a niche market. There's something that you do like very well. Like your show, I got an email. Because I signed up back in the day. You know how to do it, right?
Yeah.
The room gets packed.
Yeah.
How do you do it? And you said you're on social media now, so you're not like cloud chasing. But your marketing is on point.
The problem with social media, I've had, I've been in marketing for about 17 years as an actual day job.
Oh, yeah.
And the problem with it is that every single time you learn something, you almost think, oh, now I'm an expert. And then you try it, and there's a lot of trial and error that happens. The thing with social media is that it's quite demanding because the second you put out content on social media, people are expecting you to do more. You know this. Yeah. You know what I mean? You've got one interview now, you've probably got 10 more interviews. There's editing, there's the filming, there's the team, there's the music. Now you're gonna get the rights for the music, So my hat goes off to you and to people who are actually producing content. But for me, to fill a room with someone who's been in the industry for like 17 years, I mainly just focus on meeting people who are interested, connecting them, giving them, getting onto email database. Marketing specifically with the show that we're doing tonight, which is brought to you by Prime Cleaning Suppliers. Prime Cleaning Suppliers is one of the best cleaning companies inside. Oh no, yeah, I got to. The funniest thing is that before COVID, most of the biggest sponsors was usually alcohol. And now we've experienced quite a big alcohol problem in our communities, and it's better not to use that. But then the people who actually made money during COVID was cleaning companies.
Yeah, that's true.
Infectious.
Kind of stole alcohol, because 70% alcohol.
Let me do the jokes.
So
but you're right. Do you remember they had that whole situation in Kenya where they were like, oh no, alcohol, and then I don't know if it was in Kenya, but then they said that alcohol, there's a possibility that alcohol could stop the spread of COVID, and then people were like, oh no, now you must drink. It was Donald Trump even said you must drink something.
Oh yeah, disinfectant. Disinfectant, I remember that.
Hey man, people believe we did, but none of us knew what was going on in COVID.
Yeah.
No one knew.
I'm going to throw some topics, right?
Yeah.
And you just tell me what you think. Right?
Okay.
Rugby World Cup. What do you think? South Africa champions.
Rugby World Cup, South African champions. I'll be very honest. I think South Africa has never won anything that I've supported when I watched the full game.
Oh yeah?
And that's been since 1995, because in 1995 I was actually supporting the All Blacks. And then South Africa won.
You're too young for that. Come on. Because the All Blacks, like the reason why old people support the All Blacks, because back in the day they were like, fuck this upper play people, I'm going to support.
It's exactly what I was supporting. It's exactly what I mean.
Come on.
I'm not gonna say fuck apartheid, fuck apartheid, seriously.
Yeah.
But no, back in those days, like the All Blacks represented for black people, represented. It was in the name. There was always so much negative connotation to the word black that when you had something that had the word black in it that was doing so well, you couldn't help but support it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was also nice to say the name John Olomu. Bruh, every time I heard you play, this is gonna be a great game. We're expecting some fantastic people on the field. John Olomu, it just has a ring to it. There's just certain words that you hear, and especially in comedy, there's certain words that are funnier because they sound right for that moment. John Olomu just as a name, bro. Just sounded great.
Let me throw another one. Load shedding. What should be the solution? Well, what's the plan? What's the goal?
Okay, the realistic solution is just introduce competition. We need more. We can't have one supplier of electricity.
So here's the thing about South Africa though.
Yeah.
I think we've seen it in terms of competition. It seems like once the market is open, of course, everyone forgets stuff. So I feel like one household will have like electricity, next time no electricity, next time electricity.
Wait. Are you telling me that you want to decide who gets electricity?
No, I feel like it's going to be, if we open up the market, it's going to be whoever can afford electricity must buy electricity. The rest of you, if you cannot afford it, shame.
No, but the thing is, so what competition does is that, okay, so let me put it to you this way, right? You got a podcast, someone else has a podcast, okay? There's only 2 people who have a podcast, okay? If you guys charged money to have a show, a live podcast show, right? Everybody's gonna pay the price that you say. Because both of you just have one call, you're like, hey, my cheap is called, 500 and a ticket, I agree, cool. It's the same thing Vodacom CLC does right now, okay? Now 20 people are doing it, and they're like, no, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm not gonna charge people for the show. Do you know what I mean? What competition does is that it opens the imagination to how people understand the commerce or the business around what they're doing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the way you see it is different because I didn't say anything about poor people. I'm one of them. You're just running around saying poor people are forgotten. People remember me.
Hey, that's algorithm sentence. I don't know my point. then just to wrap it up, let's just talk in terms of like, who is the Mount Rushmore of comedy? So for you, personally, who's the best for all-time greats?
So let's just address the way that you said that. So we need to just get to the bottom of. I feel like you should. Okay. Let me. The fact that you said who is your Mount Rushmore means that you think that Mount Rushmore is great. Okay. Now let me turn the question on you. Why is the face of 4 racist old presidents would you consider to be the peak of?
Who is the Walter Sisulu, Nelson Mandela, Governor Mbeki? Who's the other one? Who's the Indian guy? Sorry.
Yo, who's the Indian guy? Yo, were you gonna say Karashma?
Maraj something.
Okay, if you want to break it down like this, let's go. Okay, so we'll start with Kara Ashmal. In South Africa, I'd say it's Riyad Musa, and then globally, I've always been a fan of Russell Peters. Then, if we want to go into the Governor Mbeki is like the old school G. He's like a founder. He's like a proper person that led the way. That has to be Richard Pryor, hands down. Then if we start going into the younger leaders, the Nelson Mandela is Dave Chappelle, and then we go into Joe Slovo. If we're looking at the lighter complexion comedians, we'll probably be looking at globally, my Joe Slovo, love Bill Burr. Bill Burr is great. And then for the other leaders that are coming up, the EFFs, we're looking at I would probably say, why am I forgetting his name right now? It's one of my favorites at the moment.
Local
International. He had a special. I remember his name just now. But there's a woman that I watched the other day who I think is probably better than so many people, and I forgot her name. I'll remember her name. We'll edit it in later.
Okay.
When you roll the credits, in the credits, it was actually just put, this is what he wanted to say. And then
And just to wrap it up, the fans out there, you got a lot of fans out there, man. Talk to the fans, what's coming up? Where should they catch you? Whatever you want to plug in.
okay, I can plug in anything. Okay, all right. Never tell a marketer to plug in whatever they want to plug in. So currently I'm running 25 campaigns, and I just want to show love to them. No, if you guys are in Cape Town, we have a show that is brought to you by Prime Cleaning Suppliers. First of the month in Cape Town at Fire and Ice. In Joburg, we have that same show, and that's the last week of the month, and that is at different venues. But if you want to find out about the shows, you can go onto Samoka's page. So that is SAMOKA, or you can go to my page and only look at stories. I don't post much there. Other than that, you'll see a lot more of me on TV and all of these adverts and stuff like that. And other than that, just find me on the streets, take a photo, have a drink with me. Let's hang.
The credits are like running away. You know what it is, Jackson's Entertainment. It is the Dressing Room Podcast.